I remember the scent of paper, the hush before opening, sunlight through cracked blinds. That bookstore, tucked in a forgotten corner of the city, was everything to me, until it wasn't. It burned down on a rainy autumn night. I should have been home. But I ran there after Yichin called, panicked. "Something happened," he said. "Please, Zian, come quickly." By the time I arrived, flames had already taken it all. Ash rose like ghosts. Sirens screamed. Yichin clutched my coat, whispering, "They can't find out. If I go down, they'll destroy my family," he said. "But if you take the fall, I swear I'll make it right. I'll wait for you. Just a year or two." The body was discovered later. A young man, barely 20. I was interrogated for hours. My hands shook. My answers were confused. I tried to protect him. He cried in my arms, told me he would fix it, told me he loved me. I signed the confession that night, my fingers numb. I couldn't look at the officers. I kept thinking of how Yichin held my hand like it was a lifeline. When they took me away in handcuffs, he was already gone. I didn't see him again, not at the trial, not at sentencing, not once during the 2 years that followed. And I didn't speak either, because love makes you stupid. They say prison breaks you slowly. For me, it started with the hunger. "Forgot your name already, bookstore boy," a guard sneered one day, tossing my tray to the floor. The watery soup soaked into my thin blanket. The others were worse. Some called me pretty boy. Some called me killer. Most just called me bitch. "Hey," one inmate whispered through the bars, eyes gleaming. "What did you do to piss off the Golden Prince? Heard he used to fuck you? That true?" I turned away. Silence was the only armor I had. They didn't like that. The first assault came at shower time. Out of nowhere, 4 men captured me and started their beatings. My ribs cracked. My jaw split. I curled around my face and prayed they would stop. They didn't. The guards found me hours later, naked and bloodied in the corner of the stall. No one was punished. "Watch your step next time," one of them muttered. I used to dream of Yichin, his voice, his promises, his hands. Then I stopped dreaming altogether. Once I was dragged from my cell for disciplinary isolation. Didn't say good morning to the warden, one guard mocked. 3 days in a concrete box with no blanket, no toilet, and barely enough air. I counted every breath to keep myself from screaming. I learned how to survive, how to breathe through pain, how to make myself invisible. But each day shaved off a piece of who I used to be. I started forgetting my own voice. By the time they let me out, I was no longer Shu Zian, just another broken thing. The moment I stepped through the prison gates, I looked for him. Liang Yichin. I dialed the only number I remembered by heart. Disconnected. I visited his old apartment. Someone else lived there now. I even stood outside his father's office building for hours, hoping to catch a glimpse, hear a whisper. Nothing. He was gone. He had erased me. I started looking for work. Anything. I just needed something to survive. But the rejections came fast and without explanation. I slept on benches. I ate what others threw away. I lost track of the days. And then one night, curled up in a half-collapsed warehouse, someone approached me. "Shu Zian." His voice was quiet, precise, like a knife drawn slowly across the skin. I didn't answer. He tossed something onto the ground in front of me. A folder. I stared at it, unmoving, until he crouched down and forced it into my hands. I opened it slowly. Photographs, my mugshot, prison logs, trial transcripts, newspaper clippings, and a photo of a smiling young man, the boy who died in the fire. "I'm Shen Wei, and my brother, you stole his life. Now you will repay me with yours." He stood again, towering above me. "You can come quietly," he continued, "or I can drag you. Either way, you're mine." The car ride was silent. I sat soaked in the back seat, clothes damp from rain and filth. Shen Wei's mansion rose over the city like judgment made of glass. When we arrived, a woman in a suit opened the front door. She didn't smile. "Follow." I didn't even have shoes. The marble floor was cold under my bare feet. Every footstep echoed like a countdown. "This is your room," the woman said, opening a door. I stepped inside. There was a bed, a dresser, a small window with blackout curtains, no locks, but I knew what it was. A cage. Hours passed. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall. Then, the door opened. Shen Wei stepped in. "Stand up," Shen Wei said. I didn't move fast enough. He crossed the space in 2 strides and gripped my collar, yanking me to my feet. You hear me, or did prison make you deaf too? Still, I didn't speak. Strip, he ordered. I stared at him. His expression didn't change, but his hands did. He seized the front of my shirt and tore it downward in one motion. I gasped and pushed back. Get off me! He shoved me into the wall with one hand and used the other to grab my wrists as I tried to fight him off. You think you still have a choice? After everything? He wrestled my arms behind my back, slamming me harder against the wall. His hand slid down, gripping the waistband of my pants. Let me go! I shouted. He tore the fabric down over my hips, exposing me to the cold air and colder eyes. Then he froze. His eyes scanned my torso, my hips, my legs, and he saw them. The scars, some old and faded, some jagged and pink, others newer, rawer, prison scars etched in pain. Something flickered across his face. Disgust? Guilt? He smothered it before it could live. He leaned in, voice quiet but sharp. They did a number on you in there, didn't they? Guess you were always made for suffering. He grabbed my chin and forced my face up. You let them mark you, and now every scar reminds you who you really are. The next night, Wei came to take me to his family shrine. The shrine stood in a silent room filled with candle smoke and grief. Kneel. My knees kissed the marble. Beg. I stared at him like I have no clue. His hand slammed into the back of my neck, forcing me down until my cheek scraped the cold floor. Ask my brother for forgiveness, he growled, grinding my face lower. Beg him. Beg like you meant to save him. I said nothing. His knee pressed between my shoulder blades, pinning me. Say it. Say you're sorry. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'm sorry for what happened. It wasn't guilt. It was exhaustion. But Shenwei heard it differently. He stood slowly, the pressure lifting. If I hadn't loved him so much, he murmured, maybe I wouldn't have hated you so easily. Keep kneeling. Don't move until the candles go out. And he walked out, leaving the door open just enough for the smoke to trail into the hall. I stayed on the floor, silent. Not because I accepted his command, but because standing felt like betrayal to someone I never met. But that night, something cracked in me. I've got so much time to think about what I made my life into by confessing to something I never did for the sake of love. The next day I accidentally dropped the bowl of soup they gave me for breakfast. I hadn't meant to drop it. I was just tired, dizzy. Shenwei stood in the doorway. Pick it up, he said. I knelt and began gathering shards. One sliced into my thumb, making it bleed. You drop what I give you, you bleed for it. That's how this works. He knelt behind me. The next thing I felt was his boot against my lower back, pressing down. Keep picking. The weight forced my stomach flat to the floor, and I couldn't move. Move! He grabbed my wrist and twisted until I cried out. You want to pretend you're helpless? Let me show you what helpless feels like. I felt the floor bruise into my cheek as he dragged me a few inches by the arm, then threw it back down. Clean every drop, with your body, if you have to. I forced myself forward, arms shaking, knees slipping in soup and blood. You don't even scream properly? He said. Is that what you did in prison? Stayed quiet and took it? I didn't answer. He grabbed a fistful of my hair, yanked my head back. I will break you, Shuzian, bone by bone. Then he let go, leaving me to collapse on the soaked floor. It happened after another silent dinner. I stood by the wall like furniture as Shenwei sipped wine he didn't even taste. I hadn't eaten in 2 days. My stomach coiled in hunger, but worse than that was the silence, the waiting. He finally set the glass down. Come here, I obeyed. Every step echoed with tension. Take off your shirt. I hesitated. Do I need to repeat myself? My fingers moved slowly. The shirt came off. Cold air hit bruised skin. He stood circling me like a beast, deciding where to bite first. With the way you act, you don't look like a killer, but you can be a good liar, he murmured. His hand reached out, yanking me closer. Do you remember him? He whispered, voice shaking, not with emotion but with fury. The one you were fucking before all this? My eyes widened. I had my people trace everything. A man who left the city 2 days after the fire. You never said a word, not even in court. His fingers dug into my ribs. You protected him. You're still protecting him. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. Was it him? he hissed, grabbing the back of my neck and forcing me down onto the dining table. Tell me he didn't put his hands on you like this. Tell me you didn't let him touch you while my brother burned. His other hand pressed against my lower back, holding me there. Say it. He didn't, I rasped. Liar. His grip tightened until pain flared along my spine. You let him go, and now you let me do this. What's the difference, Zian? I didn't answer. Couldn't. His hand slid up my back, not with desire, but with dominance. A warning, an act of control. Then he ripped away from me. Like my skin burned him. He looked down at his own hands in horror. Not because he pitied me, but because he saw what he was becoming. Maybe you protect him, and you make me into something I never wanted to be, but the truth, I promise I'll find out everything you are hiding. Till then, you'll have to repay me with your life. Part by part. He turned and walked away like he couldn't stand to be near me.